Welcome back to our review of the North African region and the culture and political environment of Egypt, Tunisia, and Morocco from Team 2. On our agenda today, we'll compare the cultures and political environments of each country and discuss their risks and how they impact the regional marketing plan. Egypt, Tunisia, and Morocco each possess rich and diverse cultures shaped by their unique histories, locations, Islamic traditions, Arabic language, and outside influences. These countries share similarities in the relaxed views on punctuality, conservative dress, and gifting from house guests. It's important to note key differences when visiting these countries. Contrasting cultural norms can affect business dealings. Negotiations are expected in Egypt. The top-down decisions are common in Morocco and Tunisia. Greetings for these countries commonly involve a handshake, but caution must be exercised for locals of the opposite sex. Tunisians display direct communication and progressive liberties for women, while Egyptians and Moroccans prefer indirect styles and conservative gender roles. Specifically in Egypt, business cards are treated with the utmost respect. Moreover, though, we noted that natives will treat punctuality loosely. It remains important for foreign visitors to be on time to meetings and to expect that meetings may extend past their anticipated end times. It's also important to recognize that Islamic principles are central to this region, and alcohol and gambling are forbidden. While exceptions and leniency are afforded to foreigners, being sensitive to local cultural values and norms is always recommended. As we look at Hofstede's 6 dimensions of cultural values, there are notable similarities and differences between Egypt, Tunisia, Morocco, and the United States. The North African countries accept hierarchy without justification, which contrasts with the U.S. views on positions of power. Additionally, compared to the United States' individualistic society, Egypt, Morocco, and Tunisia value collectivism and its commitment to the group. Egypt and Morocco value slightly more achievement. Tunisian societies value equality, while the U.S. values success. These North African countries also tend to prefer avoiding risk and uncertainty as compared to the United States. All 3 North African nations have rich histories, so it makes sense that there is an emphasis on tradition. The U.S. tends to score mid-range and shows no preference for traditions compared to pragmatism towards challenges. Egypt and Morocco scored very low on indulgence, showing these countries are very restrained when it comes to gratification. This vastly contrasts with the U.S., where indulgence is important. Understanding this region's heritage, cultural norms, and values supports effective business relationships and sustained growth in this prospective market. By focusing on the values of each country, we can develop versatile marketing strategies to maximize sales and build lasting consumer engagement. Egypt, Tunisia, and Morocco each have unique business practices that influence communication decision-making elements, which ultimately determines marketing effectiveness. While all 3 countries have a similar hierarchical marketing structure, their approaches to customer interaction vary. In Egypt, customer loyalty and education play a significant role in consumer behavior. Egyptian consumers value brands that demonstrate credibility and trust. Unlike Western markets, where fixed pricing dominates, bargaining is an expected practice for Egyptians. Business culture is heavily influenced with indirect communication and by using facial expressions or body language rather than outright persuasion. Online shopping has also increased, making digital marketing a critical avenue for reaching Egyptians. Businesses must ensure their digital presence aligns with local values while providing an engaging shopping experience. Unlike Egypt, Morocco and Tunisia's business culture is relationship-driven, meaning successful marketing involves long-term connections. While decisions follow a hierarchical structure, personal opinions influence outcomes. A significant aspect of Moroccan and Tunisian business etiquette is avoiding conflict and hard selling. Direct persuasion is discouraged, making soft selling a more effective strategy. The business engagement process makes relationship building essential, emphasizing the importance of marketing efforts that foster long-term connections and meaningful exchanges. The cultural distinctions between Egypt, Tunisia, and Morocco help highlight the need for adaptive marketing strategies. We'll now pivot to look at the political structures in these countries. Egypt's republic is characterized by executive, judicial, and legislative branches with a prime minister, but is marked by authoritarian rule under President El-Sisi, where executive power dominates. World Justice Project has reported that Egypt's overall rule of law has declined in the last decade, reflecting persistent weaknesses in governance, legal transparency, and institutional accountability. Similarly, Tunisia is also considered a democratic republic with three branches, including those of the executive, judicial, and legislative. However, President Kais Saied has largely consolidated power and dismissed the majority of the checks and balances in the government, including rewriting Tunisia's constitution. Morocco is a constitutional monarchy, also characterized by three government branches as well. King Mohammed VI holds significant power and influence on government formation and legislation, with a monarch-appointed prime minister and judicial branch. He oversees the top judicial council, limiting judiciary independence and leading to critics of the government facing punishment through the legal system. Despite the strides towards democracy and representation in its region, corruption and concentration of power are a persistent concern. As we focus on corruption and the legal systems within the North African region, we'll review the World Justice Project indices. According to researchers, the enforcement of regulations in civil justice are weakest in Egypt, leading to inconsistent application of laws and slow contract resolution. Working with public sector entities can be particularly challenging due to unclear processes and limited transparency. Furthermore, corruption is a persistent and significant issue, and its weak rule of law is reflected in its low regulatory enforcement score. Tunisia has a civil law system with a judiciary that has the authority to enforce contracts. A competition council is in place to reduce government intervention. Despite these institutional structures, the Tunisian government has significant oversight and control over trade. Irregularities are rampant in accounting, legal, and regulatory procedures. The government imposes non-tariff barriers, including import restrictions, and 40 to 60% of the overall economy is comprised of illegitimate goods. Morocco has a legal system based on civil law, which has been heavily influenced by French legal traditions and Islamic law. Corruption in Morocco remains a substantial issue, affecting politics, law enforcement, and businesses, and posing risks to incoming investors. Despite reforms in recent years to combat corruption, a lack of transparency and accountability in addition to the monarch's power concentration allows corrupt practices to persist. All three countries face challenges, including legal expropriation, judicial delays, corruption, and suppression of speech. In contrast, the United States enforces regulations, justice, and diminishes corruption. Entrance into the North African region must be slow and intentional. The differences in each of these countries' institutional and legal environments are critical when evaluating investment and compliance risk. Engaging in business in foreign markets always comes with some risk. We'll focus on the ease of doing business in these countries and the Australia star rating to review each country's unique economic climate and potential for civil and political unrest. Egypt ranks the lowest among the countries to enter into business easily. Moreover, Australia's star rating rates Egypt as moderate risk in political, economic, and civil unrest. Despite the moderate risk, Egypt maintains strong diplomatic ties with the U.S., offering a degree of strategic stability. For investors, the takeaway is clear. Stability exists, but it comes with accountability trade-offs that may pose future challenges. Tunisia is considered moderately high risk for investors, with an overall star rating of 7, reflecting potential for political and civil unrest. Moreover, Tunisia's rating is representative of high unemployment and inflation, rising levels of public debt, and shortages of food products, medicines, and energy commodities. Tunisia is pivoting away from the West and orienting towards partners with Russia, China, and Iran, whose authoritarian governments are more aligned. According to Global Edge, Morocco has some political and economic uncertainties that could affect businesses operating there. While the country is generally stable, these uncertainties may lead to challenges in payment behavior or increased chances of business defaults. The Moroccan government is actively working to improve the business environment, but governments may still face bureaucratic delays and regulatory complexities. These factors can sometimes make it difficult for businesses to operate efficiently or expand quickly. From this discussion of North African culture, politics, and risks associated with entering the market in this region, there are many similarities amongst the countries. The majority religion is Islam with commonly spoken Arabic language and conservative traditional values. Decentralized and despotic governance leads to acceptance of hierarchy and corruption. Political and civil unrest contribute to moderate risk for investors. The recommended strategy to adopt involves an extended timeline with intentional steps targeting relationship building, partnership with the state to maximize success, and marketing focused on regional values. It's recommended that cultural sensitivity is exercised, and collaborating with local businesses and professionals to form an understanding of the unique and contrasting markets is essential. These are references, and the required ones are highlighted in red.